Well, good afternoon. It's VindaCator here from iPlayMore.com. Quick reminder to subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. On Twitch, you'll earn the mana. We'll talk about that in a bit. So make sure you go to iPlayMore.com, sign up for a video game test of Thunder. And I'm the game designer developer for a game called Thunder. Thunder Throne Wars is the whole name of the game. Throne Wars is the gameplay. So where does our game take place? Well, it's in the Milky Way galaxy. You might know that place. And this is kind of all the little locations on it. We're where the sun is. And so if you continue down this arm, you get to the Carina, down the Carina arm, sorry. You get to the Stellar Jewel Box Nebula NGC 3603. And what does that look like? This. And when I saw this, I went, man, that's where our game's going to take place. And it's amazing how many times this came up over and over again, just confirming this is where your game takes place. Thanks to Maria, we've got the planet in there now. A little bit of spiral around there. We got the little map on there. You zoom in, so you've got a blue star and a red star. And then this is the new map. And thanks, Maria, she got the names off of the top, kind of matching things a little bit. We're kind of leaning here a little bit. I'm not sure. I think she turned it. I think I turned that originally. So I think she turned it. Anyways, it's just a concept. And where we're going to be hanging out today is here, Bear Isle. And we've got this whole thing done. And these are the gates of Forever. And today I don't have, there was an update on Forever, and for some reason it's not working for me, so we won't be showing that today. And it looks more complete than that. Now we've changed over our doing up our environmental work over to Eternal. And so here's where the shrine is going to go. There's going to be a bunch of shrines, but this is one location. And then he gave me this shot, and I reversed it because I just thought this looked like a big horseshoe. It's just so cool. And then this is a concept. Oh, boy. It's been a while, yeah. So you're talking about us using the Lumberyard game engine with Lua, and we did that for 6 months, and it fell apart. Literally would not load our work anymore. And so we are on the Unreal Engine now. And actually, let me tell you a little story about that. So this past week, I met with Ryan from Iron Belly. And they also did, it's the Amazon version of the Crytek engine called Lumberyard. They also picked it up and used it for 6 months and gave up on it. So it's very interesting. I'm going to talk about Iron Belly a little bit more later. So yeah, we are no longer on the Lumberyard game engine. Look at it this way. So Amazon paid a lot of money for that engine, hired some really great guys, and those great guys said, hey, I know what to do. And unfortunately, it probably should have been planned better. It is a very complicated game engine, and I think they kind of made a mess of it. So that's just my opinion. I write my own game engine. Yeah, well, when you see how complicated Unreal is, boy, oh boy. So, and the nice thing about these game engines now, I know because I was in negotiations with Crytek many, many years ago to license their game engine. They are very expensive. So now it's no money up front, which is nice. Anyways, this is the Kin Castle, just a concept for it. The river's going to split at the tree, the home tree. And then this is actually a controlled system to wash out the enemy as they walk around, close the gates and wash them out. Not so much the engine, but you have to optimize the game. The problem with a handheld mobile phone or mobile handheld, I guess I'm trying to say handheld device, that's what I'm trying to say, is that the Unreal Engine is 4 times, just the EXE is 4 times larger than a light app. So we're going to make a light app first, not a game playable app. But it's amazing what they've done with Fortnite for sure. So let me move on. So here is the Brood Fortress. Again, just a concept. We tried to match what's happening with the kin, putting the tree up on the volcano. So a little bit of an idea that we had. This will be a drawbridge here. Just trying to make something like iconic to look at. This is just a mock-up. This is just a concept. So give us some idea. And this is brand new. So this is going to be the central fountain in Eternal. Now it's interesting because that we're doing all this because this is the first assignment to Iron Belly. It's going to be this level. Now we haven't signed any agreements with them yet. I'm going to go into that a little bit later. But we'll just yap about it. So not only do I have game design documents and game design bibles and an advanced game design document that takes us 10 years into the future. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. There. We also have a draft novel that really goes into depth about our NPC characters, the locations, all that kind of stuff. It really brings depth to the characters and stuff. And a novel's a perfect way to do it because, you know, unlike a movie script's hard to read, doesn't really tell you what's going on. You know, it's more for the actors and the director. A novel, though, can be read by anybody, and so that's why I went in that direction. And then the graphic novel will be once we have our characters done, and you're going to see a little bit of that coming up here next. We will pose them and put them into the maps. We'll make what we call beauty shots, and that's going to be for the graphic novel, and that's also going to be to pitch the game, which I'll talk about a little bit later too. So talking about the Brood, Balaam's Scepter, bit of a close-up on it. See the little dragon there. And this is Balaam, done by Patrick O. Fantastic concept artist. We want to have him back to do more. That's Balaam's ring. And then this is the model, not textured yet, but you can begin to see what the character's like with the textures and everything like that. The 3D armor, no textures. So I'm talking a little bit too much about what's going on there. So that's what it looks like from the back and the front. So he's going to be the lead character. This is him without hair and without his stuff, just to show you some of the skin texture as we begin to talk about texturing him. But we've kind of held him at that point for right now. Oh, and we're going to mix this with this gray texture. The hair is going to be done in a completely different manner, so we're not showing that yet. Then we have Suiel, done by Patrico again. And here is the model. Now, Suiel is the first model that we had before we had the technical side of things. And we've got her up and in the game. And we have a new member of our team, Michael, who's setting her up into the game. So we're going to be able to see her and play her this next coming week. So nothing today, but coming soon. He just started, so very amazing. He stayed up all night. Amazing guy. Very impressed. So talk about the kin here. So we have Tally. Now, Zoran has been working on Telly, so this is his first draft of her. So you can have a little bit of a look what she's like. Still got a long ways to go, but starting to get a little bit of armor on her. What the character's going to look like. Then we have Zach. Now, Zoran's also going to take this over and finish it up. I'm kind of stuck with this one. This is about 3 weeks old now, and Kev was working on her. Scott Clark from DC Comics did the concept, so he actually drew this picture. This has been redeveloped by Maria, like colored and all that kind of stuff. And then Kev did this, but this is not finished. This is just a work in progress, a sculpt, and then Zoran's going to finish it. So what I've been working on is this is about 3 weeks old now, but it's still it's nice to talk about this. So basically, you're going to double click the icon. First run, you're going to put in some information, and then from there, you're always going to come to the map, and then select where you want to play. You're going to play, and playing is going to change the map, who controls what, and then there's all this other stuff going on. And so now we've got our keyboard layouts done, and we've got our Discord up. You can earn mana by watching my stream on Twitch, and then you can earn mana by being active in our Discord. And then if you go to iPlayMore.com, you're not sure if you signed up for the game test yet, put in your email address and it will let you know. Okay, so what's happening today? I'm going to stay away from the prototype. Sorry for you guys that haven't seen what we've been doing yet. The prototype is much more developed than everything else. The problem... I don't know why I'm over here. Sorry. Okay, I got to turn my camera on first. Wave hello. The prototype, unfortunately, was made as a single player. So you remember that map, Bear Isle? Well, you know what? This is actually a real map. I'm going to just kind of slowly fly into this a little bit here. So last week we had some trees in here, but with a whole bunch of errors. And so quickly, before anybody else did an update, I removed all of that. It was 150 errors. That's a lot of work for somebody to try to remove. So here I am flying right into it. Now there's an interesting thing. I want to bring this up too. And I just saw this just yesterday. I never thought about it before. And that's that kind of a terrain design, which comes from World Machine. Kind of looks like fur. I've never thought about that before. It's kind of perfect. So here we go. So this is the map. So let's so now I know if I hit Alt P, should get a menu here. Now this is all very early stage. I in the actual editor. Oh, I forgot to build light. That was something I was going to do. So now I'm in the game. I'm actually dropping down onto the landscape. There's actually no grass in here and no rocks. I'm talking about physical grass and rocks. This is all just very simple. And I got to thank Octavian for helping me figure out how to do this. In the prototype, so the first little square version of this map, in my mind, I thought, well, we got to make it diverse like the world. So I had a lot of different textures, and then I hand painted everything. And then there was seams or tiling where you could see the texture was tiling. So I overpainted other texture over that. That was a huge mistake. And so I'm just going very slowly. We want to make sure all of this is done correctly. Another thing I want to talk about, so let's just talk about Iron Belly for a little bit. I was looking for, my team wanted me to bring in a lead, I gotta think about this, a technical artist. And so I put an ad up. I got 2 replies, both very, very good. And what I didn't realize, that one of the replies was Iron Belly, and what I didn't realize is they're a Canadian company. I'm in Canada as well. Canadian company, and they have done this a lot, making games in Unreal, and they've made all the mistakes, and they're telling me that they could save me about 2 years of screwing up. And I know from the first map that we made that, yeah, we've got a lot of mistakes, and I'm thinking we're going to have very sparse vegetation in here, very sparse grass, really make this performant. And I should probably have my frames per second, but there's a lot of trash on the screen. I shouldn't call it trash, it's just development stuff. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So so just to be clear, we have an NDA with Iron Belly, so that means that we can share our information with them, they can share their information with us. We don't have a contract yet. Some people thought, wow, they're already working. No. I've got to send them everything that they're going to be working on. They're going to send me prices, then I've got to agree to it. On that note, so they're not going to be joining us till we're financed. I believe that this is going to be the last week of us being unfinanced. I got a feeling I'm going to be here next Saturday talking about being a finance company. That's just my gut. That's not a sure thing yet, but I think that's what's happening here. So, okay, so if I push Alt-Tab, I can now join as a brood. So this is our multiplayer gameplay. So that's all you're going to see from us. I would love to show the now here's the other thing is Ivan is working on, you see that word skid up there, that stands for Stronghold, Kingdom, Empire, Dynasty. There's 4 stages there of gameplay that the players can basically raise or take down. And I'm not going to talk about that too much today because it's really not in here yet. But what we need to have happen here, so Jordan's got this fantastic capture animation here. But what needs to happen now is the announcements need to come in. So there's announcements in the prototype that aren't here yet. So when that brood captures that throne, there should be an announcement. That 000 should leave the screen. So I'm going to jump back over the other one. Should have had him capturing the throne. So again here, we need to go from this capture animation. Now you see, now I'm getting that jerky stuff. Now this is the great thing about working with somebody like Iron Belly. They've been through all of this. One of the things that we want to do with this game is have 5,000 people on each map, server map. So that's when we got everything built. This is a no recoil. We'll come back to that. Let's talk about PEP for a second. So in the design doc, it talked about a plant that would grow PEP and drop them, and then they'd roll down. And that's basically what's happening here. We don't have a path for this yet. It probably needs a path. We've centered the PEP, so now the XYZ is right on the center, but you see they still do the jumping thing, and that's because they're not a perfect spear. So we need to decide, do we like this? I mean, there's something about this I really like. It is basically kind of rolling down that one's going up. And it's interesting. I don't know. Like, why is that going up the path? All the rest are going down. Now, there's a little bug here. When I pick these up, you see I'm just stuttering a little bit. And this is the, yeah, see? And this is the only pickup that happens. So we got to figure that out. All right, let's just keep going. And the music you're hearing here is from our game. We got 46 pieces of music done. So we need to have the pickup sounds done on this. All of the devices have been redone and are now in the game. And we're in the process of redoing, and it's kind of complicated. There's a few things we're doing, redoing the gems. Why does that look like it doesn't have the texture on it? Maybe it does. I don't know. The rest look fine. This is freedom, ability to fly, so there's no pickup sounds. So I'm going to hit enter. And I want that to work just with enter. So I should be flying right now, but now I've got to jump once, jump twice. Double jump? That's double jump. So I push the spacebar twice. That is a flaw. Now, this is the other problem I'm having right now with multiplayer, and that's when I find something like that. That's a really quick, easy fix. But if I push escape, I won't be there. I'll be back at the spawns. So it's a problem I'm having with the multiplayer. Because in the single player, I can just stop right there and fix that. All right. So I'm just going to land here. Okay, so in the game design document, it talks about pushing your G. And what G is going to do, you see I went to third person, and I can kind of roll around it here a little bit. So what's G going to do is my character is going to gesture, so actually animate. And I think what we should do with the camera is maybe scroll the camera kind of like this as the character is animating. That would be kind of cool. But anyways, you can see what's happening. As I'm pushing these things, I've got power-ups spawning over there. And now I can come over here and pick them up. Now, going back to Iron Belly here a little bit, you're going to see something very strange here. You're going to see as I'm walking back this way, all of a sudden those mountains that were there before are gone. And watch what's going to happen. They're going to pop. And I'm going to have a little tiny bit of a lag. Here we go. Any second now. I'm slow walking. There we go. You see how those mountains just appeared? So that's something else Iron Belly is experienced with to help us with. They do. They load this stuff in a certain order and a certain way so that you don't notice things popping in and out like that. And we have that happening. It's interesting because that isn't happening in Spectator. That's only happening in the gameplay. Okay, so let's whip over here. So this is where the fountain's going to be. And you can see I'm having some really funky, interesting things happening as I move. I am less concerned about that now that we have somebody that's experienced in that. That issue with the... You see, you hear the sound, but when I'm moving, the sound is going away from me. So I think I've got that fixed as part of the design. All right, let's just switch roles here. So he's going to get off. He's going to just stand in the circle. I'm going to just show this. It's funny, when I was testing yesterday, I got 3 guys in here. I don't know how. Yeah, this guy's all juddery now. So you can see that if I'm just in the circle, 2 guys in the circle, we're at impasse, which means that nobody's capturing. If I go on these thrones, you can see I'm capturing slowly, and if I go on the center throne, I capture quickly. There's nothing he can do now. And I'm not sure. See, this is a little buggy here. You see it stopped working, then working again. So that's part of what my stream's about, is to show the team what's working and what's not, and to kind of get you interested in what we're doing here. So I think what's happening is this character its model is large, and so when I turn it out, it's actually in the circle. When I turn it in, it's not. This might be a character issue. So we got a new programmer. His name is Michael, and he is working on bringing in our first character. So hopefully that'll be solved. I think these characters here have this big front end to them. Yeah, you see when I even go up, it's not working. So that's very interesting. But I can capture that throne away from him. And then when I leave the circle, see, he's capturing it back. And so I would have to race home, and away we go. Now, we got some size issues that we're going to be dealing with. So we're resizing every model to be the right size. These thrones are the older models. And on that point, I'm going to just mention something here. In 1 week, so I'm going to do one more broadcast, and then we're going to remove all of the prototype assets before we send this over to Iron Belly, because there's no sense having them load a single player version with all of those assets in it. We'll be able to simplify this quite a lot, and they can take it from there. So again, there's no contract with them. We're just in negotiations, but I feel really good about what's happening with them. The other thing that's not happening is the damage system. So if I change the other guy, it's got 32% black and white shield. Let's just have another look. So you can see I got a push and a pull. We've still got work to do there. We got work to do on the particle systems, venting, muzzle flash, hit. When this hits him, it should be exploding. You can't even see it because I'm too close. So we still have all that work to do. Let's just change over. Oh, it is taking his shield. Okay, good, good, good. Hey, Dutch. So I'm going to see what happens when I banish him. So he should have no shield now. Let's just check. He has 0 black and white shield, 0 rare shield. That means one more shot. I don't think he's actually there because look at how fast I'm taking the throne now. So let's change over to him. Yeah. So you can see he's got 0 shields. He's been banished. So he picks up the return, which you can find in the pit if you're so lucky. You push enter, and then he spawns back into the game. Now we've got a few things to do. One of the things we have to do is get the shrines in here that fill up your shield. The thrones need shrines on them so they can fill up. So when he comes back, I will be here. The throne's going to be captured by the enemy. I'm just going to have to change back here. See? So there's... Oh, see, look at... So that's how I'm getting 3 guys. See, I knew if I got this. So this has... The guy has to be destroyed because he's being banished. And this is the guy that was banished on the throne. So good. I'm glad I was able to reproduce that. So a couple other things let's just talk about. So we've got invisibility. Why is that not working? Okay, a little bit of a bug there. We've got notch up, which is filling up my shields, you can see. We'll be filling up my energy too. What's going to happen is, another thing that we have to get working is, you can see on my device, I'm going to roll my mouse wheel. You can see on every device, except this one, there's a little energy, a little display there. And that's where the energy is going to be displayed right on the device. So we're going to take it off. We're going to try to take as many things off of the HUD heads-up display user interface as we can. And the other thing I want to talk about too for Jordan is all the things that we see on the screen need to fade out if not in use. And there's numbers on the screen for the power-ups that you don't have that shouldn't be shown until you have the power-up. So a couple things. So you scroll your power-ups with your arrow key, so going side to side, right and left. And then I can change my scepter in my left hand by going up and down arrows. So we've got 3, and then there's going to be let me just think here. There's 4 different scepters that have to go there. So lightning, fire. This is storms. There's going to be an ice scepter, which is not done yet. Oh no, sorry. This is the ice scepter. Storms isn't done yet. That's the one that's on its way. And then there needs to be an empty slot, because the way that we're going to do it is your left mouse click is also your scepter if it's ready. And your right mouse click, which are the same right now, they're going to be different later, is just your device. And also has to do with your recoil. So let's just go to a recoil device. So you can see if I left click, it's pulling me forward. And if I right click, it's pushing me back. So if you want to retreat, this is what's so amazing about our game. So let's say I want to shoot that guy on the throne. Let's say I'm up in the air and I want to retreat. I want to move away. And look at this. And this is all just momentum. I don't even have my hands on the keyboard anymore. So retreat is a real option in our game. You can use your device. You can go to a shrine. And this isn't snow. This is just the setup, the train setup. So we have that little bit of a jerky thing happening. Okay, so here's some of the technical questions. Is that I need to figure out how to now add textures to this without affecting this. Like for example, that needs to be lava. I need to paint some paths. I'm I know this level inside and out. And I'm getting lost in here. It's going to be a lake. But so I need to know how to do that properly. In the first prototype, I did it incorrectly. So now we need to figure out how to do it properly. Well, that's the other thing that's happening. Not that. That was a... So now I'm up in the sky. You see how it's pushing me backwards? And then pulls me forward. And then I go kind of sideways. So some weird thing happening there. So just a little bit of cleanup to do. And I gotta be honest, I was a little bit worried about those kind of things because I want people to come in and enjoy this. It's a single player game. So this is a non-recoil, or we're calling it anti-recoil. So that's all functioning. See if I go up in the air. Now I've got recoil. If I'm on that. So that's just a test. Next week we're going to have the castle and fortress in here. We've got them, Henrique has them redone with 75% less draw calls. So it's performing really, really well. So that'll be in here. I've got to figure out how to do vegetation. So let's just talk about that for a second. I could say it was a partial success. We had a asset meeting on putting our assets, because we want to simplify things, make it easier for people to download, smaller file sizes and things like that. And I'm just looking down to see if I have got the throne ability to place thrones, but I do not. That's not in here yet. So Ivan's working on that. Ivan, please get that done. We haven't forgot about you. You haven't forgot about us. I see. Oh. It is in here. But the ability to select it is not. Okay. So we're getting there. Okay, cool. So that's the ability to place thrones. You're going to place thrones across a level. And then Ultimate Throne Wars happens when the thrones meet. So a lot of the things I'm going to be just kind of talking about here, because it's not happening yet in this. The other thing Iron Belly can help us with, resolving all of these issues, every single issue that we have. One of the things I forgot to ask them about was the height. Can they go into the engine and give us more height? Because we're limited to 256 units high, 256 units down. And I mean, honestly, I don't really mind this mountain height. Seems to be fine. And your ability to run up here and be on top of the mountain, that seems fine to me. That's our biggest mountain right there. I wonder why that's happening. Because that sound should be coming from my device. I thought it was on the projectile, but when I fire it, I can still hear it. So it seems to be stuck where the character was. That seems to be the problem. So, and that's a lot of what this stream is about right now, is as we're developing the game. We're just in our first year. 3 to 5 years to make a game, so we're still got a long ways to go. So here's the tallest mountain. Oh, I flew right off of it. Let's try that again. I do love this about this. The way we've set this up is you can basically go anywhere. And you can see the little white, that's because it's not drawing that and I'm just turning too quick. I always wondered what that was, but now it makes perfect sense. So we can get all that fixed up. We're going to get the water back in, but it was tiling a lot, so you can see where that zoom is strange too. It seems to be just removing my device. It doesn't seem, yeah, see, it's, if you look right there on the mountain, when I zoom, it's actually not zooming in very much. So that should be like way more. And then when you have the Dark Agony, that zoom should be like really incredible. It should be unique. Because this is the one that you can be able to attack from a long ways away. And other things too, but we're not going to get into that right now. So anyways, I got to say I'm very pleased with this map. So let's talk about assets now. So our using I got to think about what it's called, migration worked, but we'll say it only worked 50%. All of the materials were still being drawn from the old asset base, which means that if we deleted it, all of our trees, all of our texture, everything would just be gone because it's drawing from the old assets. So that was the first problem. I didn't realize there was two problems. There's another problem. All of the materials are drawing from the old textures. So I had to redo both of those, and that's in progress. I'll have that done this next week. And so we've got one more week, guys, and then we're going to be pulling out the assets. Bear Isle Bear Isle prototype is going to disappear, the single-player version, and we're going to continue with this multiplayer version. The other thing Iron Belly can help us with is there's a Canadian grant for game development for all kinds of different arts, but they've been trained by the government how to write these grant applications so they get approved, and so they're going to help us with that as well. So it's very exciting. So I guess, I don't know how much more. There's nothing really in here. I guess we can talk about some of the assets. They're going to help us with those mountains popping. But they've done all this very, very successfully with other games. So that is the energy for this device. That's the energy for this device. That's the energy for both this device and this one. And oh, are you serious? That shouldn't stick to that, but it does. Oh yeah, that's something we had to fix. Jordan warned me about that. So that's pretty cool. That's the stinger. And that's a bouncer. And the cool thing about the bouncer is this. I absolutely love this. So like if you wanted to create a wall of these things. Oh, I've never seen them do that though. Isn't that just so cool? So anybody coming in through that is going to, you know, and I want to make those a little bit, what do you call it? Heat seeking. Okay, so let's. Okay, so oops, I'm going the wrong way. So this is the device for your blue and your H2O. So that's the hog. And we're still working on sound, so just ignore all that right now. And they're not programmed properly. We just have one sound. And we got to get the pickups going, sounds for everything too. So for the rare devices, and this one's missing a bunch of effects on it. But for the rare devices, that's the energy there. Oh, I see. So the rare is going in the rare. Oh no, it goes into the rare pool. Okay, I see. I got it. So basically the rare energy is kind of cool because even if you don't have a rare device, if you use up all your energy like in a normal device like this one, if I use up all that energy, and it's, oh, that's the other thing, Jordan, it's not supposed to be taking one. So you have it like a bullet right now. It's actually, if you look at the document, it's actually taking a bunch of energy, and it's doing a bunch of damage as well. We got to get the fountain in so we can start doing the level up stuff, but we'll get to that. So those are our freedoms, so you can fly. Okay, so talking about shields. So let's go back to the black and white here. Okay, so this is the agony, and that is this side of the shield, and that works together in tandem with the same shield on that side. So you got dark, you got light. And then for the red, both red, you got the red shield. Both blue, you got the blue shield. Now, when I did the game design document, people were saying, asking questions like I said, you know, this is a very interesting game because a professional player and a new player can play together. And so I'm just going to explain that. So a professional player will go for points. So he's going to take all that shield, all of that shield, all of that shield, all of that shield, and then banish the new player. The new player is going to just take, let's just say, one shield, one main shield, one backup shield, one rare shield, core shield. And you can just use blue, go right through the blue, and then take out the rare. And so it's a way that 3-on-1 new player professional can play with each other and have a fair balanced game. Of course, the professional is going to get all those points because you only get 1 point for banishing somebody, putting them into the pit. And then there's all the devices. We've now got the hog and the Wolverine spinning around. Because they're attached to the character, we never did that. So that's all done now. The resizing's done now. Power-ups are in there. All kinds of stuff. So, I'm trying to remember all the things I wanted to say because I've been thinking about this all week. One of the things I wanted to say is something has changed. There's a saying called fake it until you make it. And I don't really like that saying. But it's kind of true in this sense, is that, we're unfinanced. We don't have money to pay for the best talent in the world. Somehow we've got some incredible talent that has come and believed in this enough that we've got to this point. And I really think that this last week is where we crossed some invisible line. It's not just my idea anymore. This is a real game that's going to market. And that's what's happened this last week, is that enough people have believed that there's a book out called Tipping Point, is that we've hit the tipping point, and now it's all going to come together. And so let me encourage people, if you're doing your own thing, you'll hit some low points, you'll want to give up, don't, because that's why this has worked out so well, because so many people, more people than are working on it, have dropped out of this over the years. And all they're going to be left to see is, now it's going to be successful, and people rarely come back. I don't think I've ever had anybody ever come back. So, and the thing is IMU Studios is all about being kind of an open door. Somebody comes back and they're very talented and they left because we were unfinanced. The door's open. So, and that's the other thing we want to do, is start hiring instead of just people and hoping that we're going to be paid. Start hiring some paid staff once we cross that line. So it's close. I think it's next week. I'm just going to talk about the scepter in my hand here. That should be, the hand should be on that blue part there. So it's just, I'm holding it a little bit low. It's all right, but being picky. So let's just go through them. So that's just a placeholder right now. So that's correct. Oh, see, that one's not right either. The hand should be, see where the tail is down here? See if I can get this kind of lined up. Yeah, so right there where my crosshair is, right here, that's where that should be held. It should be held up quite high. So let's talk about some other things. So Zoran is stopped working on Balaam, now working on Telly. Then he's going to be working on getting Zach up to the same level. Brendan is our new lead artist, and he's doing a fantastic job. Basically, what he's doing is he's taking all of my deep character design stuff, and he's going really deep. Like, how tall are they? What great historical hero, for lack of a better word, do they mimic? Because it's a lot easier for people to model, animate, and put a character in the game if it's based on something. So he's doing an excellent job of that, and much, much more, but we're just going to talk about that. Michael is new programmer, bringing characters into the game. So got some success happening there. He stayed up all night, which is absolutely amazing. Octavian is working on the Forever level, and he had updates with plants and all kinds of stuff, but I haven't been able to get a hold of him. He uploaded it, but I can't find... I found all his plants, but I can't find his map. So maybe he didn't upload it. And I asked him 2 days ago, but I haven't got back from him. So I'm unable to show that today. Philip, of course, did what you're seeing here. And I'm very impressed. I was going to do all kind of smoothing and stuff, but now I'm kind of liking this rough level now. Where here I'm down, I can't even see the castle. Then I come up over the hill, and the castle's going to be there. It's all this pep all over the place. The pep is kind of being held by the shape of the level, which is kind of cool. And I mean, this is just a concept from the game doc, and it's actually functioning. It's absolutely amazing. And so this is where the castle will go. We'll actually have a throne pit here. We're just using the throne pit here as the pit So there I've just picked up the thing. I'm not going to use it, though. It'll just spawn me up and I'll fall. But Jordan has code on there that I lose my fast run. And I think that's correct until you pick up, I think, freedom. So maybe he can confirm that with me. I think that's all what's happening. Let's keep talking about people. So Luciano, well, he's been doing all the concepts for Eternal. And that's fantastic because that's going to go to Iron Belly. That's going to be the first level they do for us. And that's all up in the air. There's no contract signed yet. Maria, not only... I'm kind of at a loss here. Not only did she do those first screens so that the Galaxy... Sorry, the Solar... Sorry, the Galaxy one she did. She updated the planet one for me. She also is working on Uriel, so it's a new character that's going to be going out for 3D modeling. I think Kev's going to work on that one. And, and then she did the... So this map here has bears in it, so we have to get the bears done. She did that quite a while ago. We still have to do bear views on that, so maybe a little reminder that we need to do some bear views before we model them. But Maria has done the dragonflies, so there is... You know in... what do you call it? Anime, they have these kind of well-drawn characters, and then they have these little kind of cartoony type characters that they're kind of the comic relief. Well, that's kind of what the dragonflies are in the novel anyways. And so she has them done up views and everything like that, so they're ready to model. Now, I went on the internet trying to figure out how to pronounce your name. And it says French, it says Adriana. Anyways, that's probably wrong, but she's doing a fantastic job. What she's doing, and I haven't been showing any of her work. Last week I showed a little bit of it, but she's done up the crows. She's done up the geese. So there's geese on the lake. So there's a male mallard duck, female, and a baby. She's done all that. She's redone the bee a couple times now. She's redone the hive, the beehive. She's done the hummingbird, which is absolutely amazing. And now she's working on a cockatoo. So those will all end up in here. I've already done the audio for them. They were placed audio in the prototype map, which I'm not showing today. But if you watch any of my old videos, you can see it. That's the main thing I show. And I'm just loving the way that this works and how this is performing, other than this little laggy thing that's happening. But that's just a programming thing that we need to fix. It's like a hitch. It's like talking to the server, but there's no server. So it's creating some sort of... I'm guessing. I have no idea. I'm not a programmer. So we've already talked about Jordan. We've already talked about Ivan. So it looks like Ivan's slowly getting this gameplay in place. Now, Sked was not supposed to be announced on the screen where you can look. You can see the screen there. It says H2O because that's the device I'm holding. So if I change hog. So that's great. But that is supposed to happen over top of the middle. You see the fountain there, and that fountain. Actually, yeah, and let's talk about Mohammed. So I forgot. So we had the newest programmer to join the team is Mohammed, and he is an interface guy. But our interface isn't quite at the stage for us to work on it. So I have him working on waypoints. Now that's something that I wanted to do. Because this gameplay is different, like you capture your own throne first. So it's kind of like capture the flag, but placing thrones, leveling up, creating strongholds, empires, dynasties. How do you do that? So he's going to create all of the waypoints. So it's a leading thing. So it's going to show me that I need to go to this throne. It's going to lead me to it. Now, what I want to do is not have all that stuff on the screen. So somehow I want to have it here. And so when I'm looking in the map, I'm going to be going, hey, there's something over there. And I go to it. Because right now, it kind of pops up on your screen. And so if it was the throne, it would be on my right side of my screen. And as I look at it, it would be on the throne. It would disappear from the screen. And if I go this way, it's going to be on the left side of the screen. So I'm not sure. Anyways, the purpose of that is so that we can submit this to the Unreal, make something on Unreal Fund. There's some grant money there as well. So we're going to go for it all. Oh, and I actually found another funding agency. It's actually 2 more here in BC, and I found another one today. So I think, you know, if we get that application drawn up, we will just hit them all, or maybe hire somebody to help us do that. So let's talk about the interface now. So on the devices, you can see that little window. So that's where the energy has to go. I'm thinking that's got to be done with a socket. So again, I'm going to direct this towards Michael. So he's learning how to do sockets, put the new devices on the new character, our own character. And then so we want to have that display how much energy is in the device. So we don't want that on the screen. See where it says energy 279 over 280. So we want to have that, just the 279 on the device. I'm not sure about the 280 or over the 280. I've got mixed feelings about that. And then the rare energy is pretty cool, because then you can run out of energy and switch to the rare. There's a sound for that. Something I think I forgot to mention, that there's a sound when you run out of energy. Well, there's a low energy, but there's also a sound when it changes to the rare. So I think I forgot to include that. The SCAD announcement shouldn't be on the screen like that all the time. It should be announcement. So like when I capture this throne, it will say my name. This is ultimately where we're going with this. It will say my name and that I have captured this throne. Oh, and look, I'm picking up throne energy. So that's a very good sign. And I do have the HUD for placing thrones, but WASD is not working. Nothing's working to select that. So that still has to happen. So we're getting there. And the thing is we had that in the single player, but what we didn't know is that you have to do multiplayer. So again, just to warn everybody, 1 more week, and then I'm going to remove the old asset base, which is going to affect things like programming. All these models that are in the game right now are going to be gone. We'll be having the new size models. That's all coming in this week. Henrique was a little distraught. He didn't get it done. He was working really hard on it, but I think he didn't realize exactly how much work there is. Look at these things. I don't know. That's kind of fun. It's very interesting. You go, what the heck? Oh, and that's the other thing is when I pick that up, why is it not on my screen? So that's the other thing that's got to happen. And I've already asked that question. So I think I've hit most of the things. So there we go. But yeah, the HUD needs to fade, especially when I'm not using anything. It should totally fade. Everything. It just, and the way the HUD works. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about the HUD for Mohammed. So yeah, maybe that's more the direction to take this in. So the way the HUD works is I only see, so when I roll my mouse wheel to change my device, the HUD comes up. Okay. And what this allows me to do, so like right now, if I want to take a screenshot, everything on the HUD would fade. I can see how much energy I had in my device. On my left wrist, I'm going to see the timer for the game. You can see there's 2 dots on the right under the return. There's 2 dots there. That's got to be removed. That's the timer for the game that's going to be put on the inside of your left wrist. We could also use that area inside the left wrist. There's going to be a screen there on the person's inner left wrist. So not only the timer there, but we could put waypoints there too. So I'm kind of glad I'm going a little bit longer and thinking about this, because there's a lot. I am overwhelmed, guys. There is so much going on with this game, and trying to keep everybody active. We don't have all of our leads in yet, so it's a lot of work. Anyways, okay, so let's just talk about a few things. So there's going to be a team score. So where you see on the left side, you see the pentagram, and on the right side, you see the hexagram. There's also going to be a team score, but I think that's coming in alpha. So that's later on. And there's the other thing that's got to happen when I capture that throne. There's got to be a score for that. So that shows up where the score is. The rank where it says 1-1, that's got to become active. So that's a real rank. So where I am on each team. So number 1 means I'm on top score on my team. Number 1 on the enemy team means I'm first place overall. So I could be number 1 on my team, but number 5 overall if the other team's doing really well. Throne energy, well, that needs to be an animation, but we're going to get to that. right in the center there, you see the fountain. So that's not going to be on the screen until it is a waypoint. So basically when I capture, you see I've got 42 thrown strikes, but when I've got 2, that's all I need, I can go jump in the fountain and create a stronghold. So if the kin create a stronghold, then that is like it is water. If the brood create a stronghold, then that's going to be the lava image. And then again, all of this fades. So while I'm being shot, I will only see the shield I'm being shot. So if somebody shot me with rare, that's pretty aggressive. We'll fix that. So if that hits somebody right there, then that where it says 36, that's the rare shield, then that would flash and show you've been hit there. And then I've got a whole system set up in the game design document. So if you go to the game design document, take a look, you'll see that will flash a little bit if you have a lot of shield in it, and then as it goes down, it flashes faster, more aggressively until you have none, and then there's nothing on your screen. And in our game, you can literally run around with no shields. Unlike a game with health, where 0 health is death, we have the most thrilling part of our game, I think, when you have no shield and you're being shot and you're trying to get away and get to a shrine, or you're in the pit and somebody's shooting at you. So I think I've kind of talked about everything. The power-ups on the top of the screen there, I'm just going to flip through them so you can see. There I am flipping through them. So that's kind of cool. I can select some different ones. These are some old graphics that we had, but they are working. So basically I want those all to completely fade unless in use. So like, for example, when I push the arrow keys, then they should all show up. So I see what I've got. And Jordan says he's not the best guy at doing user interface, and it's kind of nice that we have somebody that understands that. So that's kind of cool. So I think now we've kind of developed a little bit of the user interface idea. We've talked a little bit about the HUD, the waypoints, how the waypoints could actually be on the player's wrist, showing them the direction to go. It's a very interesting idea. That's not set up yet, so I think to start we can just use what we have with the side arrows and stuff, but then to clean it up, to take it off, and that's really what we want to do. And there is an example, I can't remember the name of it, but basically you can see my left wrist there. There's a game out there, and the whole interface comes off the guy's wrist inside the game. He can scroll different tabs, different information, all the information there, nothing on the screen like the HUD. So that's kind of a cool idea, but it's got to be designed. It's not designed yet. So there we go. So yeah, so while I'm scrolling through that, those should come up, but only those. And when I stop and nothing's selected, they should disappear. And then if one is selected, let's take one. Yeah, we'll take freedom because it's got the most. So when that's running, then that should be on the screen. It should be the only thing on the screen telling me it's running. And that should start, I should be able to fly right now. And when I push enter again, I should not be flying. We've got it, Jordan made it so that you push it and it's running, and then you got a double jump, which I think is a little too many steps. And that's not the way the prototype was. We want to keep this as pure as possible. So just enter and you're flying, enter and you're stopped. Very simple. So I think that's it for today, guys. So let's push escape. So this is where we were today. So the game's only going to take place here. We want to test it on a small area. There's going to be some very cool NPC things happening there. There's going to be a bear stone here. There's going to be a fire here. I was thinking this volcano will be another place that you can go visit. This island right here in the eye will be another place you can go visit. There might be more, but right now we're going to put NPCs there, and there'll be some training missions. Oh, I forgot about this one. Let's go show this one. This is a new one. So another place, and the waypoints can lead to these things as well. Come up into here. Kind of come around these corners. Back into this corner here. This would be a great place. Might need to do some light in here, though. I haven't built light, so we can't really see. Another NPC location. So you can see how I carved out the middle of that mountain. So that's something I got from looking at the original Bear map. The other thing I did is I took this down a little bit because that's actually not supposed to be there. But I do like it because it does lead you, you know, you're not going off here. It does lead you towards the other side. That's the other reason we need the waypoints too. And, you know, maybe a way for the player to say, hey, I want to play in the arena, and they get the arena. Or they say, hey, I need to do my missions. And I think this one right here is kind of where I'm leaning. It could be different. This will be the mission to get the claw. So I've changed the claw. Originally, I thought, well, the player's always going to have the claw. But to get the claw and learn how to use it, I think that's going to happen right there. So I think that's where we're at. So there we go. That's me talking about everything. Mostly today is for the game design team. I'm hoping next week. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Glad I kept talking. Jordan, I want to work with you and some of the other people on the team that are available. Let's figure out how to get multiplayer working. I can join Jordan. I'm behind some sort of a router firewall that's keeping me, so let's try to figure that out. Somebody can maybe help us with that. But maybe somebody else can host. So Michael is about an hour away, an hour and a half away from me. So maybe he can host and I can join him for next week. So just some thoughts, and keeps me from typing all this stuff to everybody and then having to explain it. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, that's the other thing I did is added these little island pieces that are coming out. And this lake, I thought, how does that lake drain? But it's an underground drain. It drains here. So I think we got everything set up. We've got to still get the ocean in, figure out how to make it non-tiling. We got to get the lake in here, and there's another lake here, and then the rivers. I'm just gonna say there's one thing that bugs me a little bit about the prototype, the first prototype we did, and that's that the water is so loud. But I guess I can just reduce the sound because so many of our maps on the kin side have water for the moat, and even water is going to be like waterfalls to wash people away. So those are some advanced things, but the sound of that. So I guess we can just turn the volume down. So I didn't even think about that till just now. But there we go. And that's going to be ocean around there. And then when you look this way from forever into the wonderful white world, this will continue. The ocean will continue. And the next island forever is going to be here. Just so everybody has a sense of what's happening. And then we'll use this whole system to put more parts together. And that'll happen over time. So there we go. Anyways, it's VindaCator saying thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. All those wonderful things that you can do to help us out. Make sure you go sign up for the game test. The guys have asked me not to announce. They feel it's too much pressure for me announcing dates for when we're testing. And you can see the little issues we got. So I think what's going to happen is we'll get something formal happening with Iron Belly. And get things happening smoothly and testing smoothly, and we can join smoothly, and then I'll announce a date again. So, I mean, we're there, but not quite. So, yeah. I've been announcing dates, and it really makes the team nervous. It's great because we work very hard, but you can see those little bit of a stagger. The banishing to the pit isn't removing the one player. So we got a few things to clean up. So bear with us. And just to say it, most games do not reveal until 6 months before. And we're only 1 year into this. So, you know, we're still in a prototype phase, talking about moving into alpha, but it's still very early stage. And you're looking at this in the editor. This isn't even a version of the game yet. So we haven't even crossed that bridge. We're actually building versions of the game and distributing them for people to test. So that's coming. And I don't want to test in the prototype. Of course, it's single player. It's absolutely useless now. So we're going to toss it away. There were some mistakes made on how it was built. But I mean, it's a prototype. It's just to show what we can do. So this alpha, we're going to go very slowly and surely and make sure everything's done, no errors, make sure everything's smooth. And that's where we're probably going to do the first test. Or Forever is coming along very quickly. In fact, it's probably more developed than Bear Isle is right now. So we may test on both of those together in one map, or, because that's the concept, is that you're going to be able to move from arena to arena without having to load, which would be very exciting. That's my dream. That's my goal. I'm talking to Iron Belly about pulling that off. We'll see if anybody can do it. It's them. So, and they've already done MMO kind of stuff, so they know exactly what we need to do to make this work. So I will announce the date as soon as I know, but I want to make sure that the team can join, we can play. It's fun, it's engaging. There's no bugs, evident bugs like I've been showing today, and that's all cleaned up. So anyways, so there's the stuff that we're going to do this next week, and then I'm going to show what I've shown here, probably with some more development done. I'm cleaning up assets. It's a long process. That means I got to open up every tree, attach new materials. I've got to open up the materials. I've got to attach new textures, and then I've got to save all that, which is a long drawn out process. And so I'm working on it like crazy. I'm going to continue that today, and I'll continue that tomorrow, and it'll be done for next week. And then after my next, because I want to go one more stream, make sure everything's working properly, I'll remove it, and then we're going to be broken for the week after that. We'll spend that week fixing things up, making sure everything's right and working. And just, again, a warning that that's going to happen for everybody. So don't pull from the asset base. We need to pull from bare isle/assets. That's where the new assets are set up. Unless it's a root asset, then it's fine. But anything inside of assets is going to disappear. So that's going to be great on a couple levels because it's going to be a much smaller download for people. We're going to be using much less. I went crazy when I made every plant, every tree. I did 26 versions, A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, and that's just too much. So I went through and I cleaned it up. I took out the ones that I didn't like, that weren't quite perfect, and then left the best. So there might still be a Z, but there's not 26 anymore. There's more like 12. So that, kind of cut our assets in half, which is great because we just had too many. So, and some more of that stuff will happen, but that's where we're at for now. So anyways, it's VindaCator saying thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, all that good stuff, and we will see you on the flip side. It's VindaCator, and I am